It was a late afternoon, and the sun cast a golden hue over the city skyline as a sleek black limousine pulled up to an exclusive restaurant nestled in the heart of the financial district. The valet opened the door, revealing a woman in a striking red dress, her heels clicking against the marble floor as she stepped out. Her name was Olivia Montgomery, a name that few outside the world of high finance would recognize, but one that held immense power behind closed doors. Olivia was a quiet force, a billionaire tech mogul. She had built her fortune from the ground up. Yet, she rarely made a spectacle of her wealth. She didn't crave the public spotlight or the flashing cameras that followed the most famous figures of the business world. Instead, she preferred the shadows, the spaces where deals were made and fortunes were quietly shifted. To the outside world, she was just another elegant woman out for dinner. But those who truly knew her understood that Olivia was not someone to be underestimated. She walked into the restaurant, her presence commanding attention without a single word. The maitre d' greeted her with a warm smile, his eyes briefly flicking to the reservations book. He had heard rumors about Olivia's connections, but he hadn't yet learned how to treat her with the respect she truly deserved. "Table for one, Miss Montgomery?" the maitre d' asked, with an air of politeness, but also an edge of curiosity. Olivia nodded and followed him, the soft whisper of her dress brushing the floor as they weaved through the dimly lit dining room. As they passed tables filled with eager patrons, whispers followed her. She had that effect on people, even when she remained silent. The hum of conversation seemed to quieten when she entered a room, an unspoken acknowledgement that someone important had just arrived. Her table was in the farthest corner of the restaurant, away from the crowd, close to the window. She appreciated the solitude, the quiet, a moment of peace before the world came crashing back into focus. She sat down and placed her small black purse beside her, her gaze briefly drifting out to the city lights twinkling below. Across the room, a man named Ethan Davis sat with his colleagues at a long, polished oak table. Ethan was an up-and-coming figure in the world of finance, the kind of man who was constantly trying to make a name for himself. His company was still in the early stages of development, and he believed that rubbing elbows with influential figures like Olivia Montgomery was his ticket to the big leagues. He had heard rumors about her, the way she built her empire with almost no public recognition, the deals she brokered quietly in the background. Ethan knew he needed to get her attention, and he had the perfect plan. He excused himself from his colleagues, his eyes scanning the room for Olivia. The moment he saw her seated alone at her table, his heart raced. This was his chance. Approaching her table with a false sense of confidence, he straightened his suit jacket, the faint smell of expensive cologne lingering in the air. He was sure that this would be his moment, the moment he could introduce himself, flatter her, and seal a deal that would put him on the map. He walked with purpose, his footsteps loud and deliberate against the polished floor. "Miss Montgomery," he said, his voice dripping with charm, "I hope I'm not disturbing you, but I couldn't help but notice how impressive your work has been. I have heard a lot about your achievements in the tech world, and I believe there's a lot we could do together." Olivia's eyes flicked up to meet his, her expression calm, almost unreadable. She had been quietly observing him approach, already knowing what his intentions were. She had seen men like him before, hungry, ambitious, and blind to the fact that they were nothing more than pawns in a larger game. He smiled too widely, spoke too fast, and carried a sense of entitlement that came with his newfound wealth. She didn't respond immediately, instead letting the silence hang in the air. Ethan shifted on his feet, unsure of what to do with the lack of response. The quiet made him uncomfortable, but he wasn't one to be easily deterred. "Well," he continued, leaning in slightly, "I think we could really help each other. I've been working on a project that I believe could revolutionize the industry, and I think you could be the key to making it a success." Olivia's lips curled into a small, almost imperceptible smile. She hadn't spoken yet, but the sharpness in her gaze sent a clear message. She wasn't impressed. She knew exactly what he was doing. Ethan, oblivious to the way she was reading him, continued with his pitch. He spoke faster now, trying to sell himself, his words tumbling over each other. The louder he spoke, the more Olivia's eyes remained steady, unwavering. There was a sense of control in her calm demeanor, something Ethan could never replicate. He was trying too hard, talking too much, and it was becoming more evident by the second. Finally, Olivia spoke, her voice low and measured. "You have no idea who you're speaking to, do you?" The words hit Ethan like a cold wind. He blinked, momentarily thrown off balance. What do you mean?" Olivia took a slow breath, leaning back in her chair. "I am the one who makes the deals. You, on the other hand, are just hoping to be a part of them." Her voice remained calm, but there was a power behind her words that Ethan hadn't expected. He had thought he was in control, that his charm and arrogance would win her over. But Olivia wasn't like the people he was used to. "You've come to the wrong person," she continued, her eyes piercing through him. "You see, the reason you're sitting here now is because of people like me. People who don't need to talk loudly or seek validation. People who make things happen without asking for permission." Ethan stood there, speechless, his confidence slipping away like sand through his fingers. He had underestimated her, underestimated the quiet strength she exuded. In an instant, the room seemed smaller, and the weight of his own arrogance pressed down on him. The people around them had stopped talking, sensing the shift in the atmosphere. Olivia stood, placing her napkin on the table with a soft rustle. "I'll finish my dinner in peace," she said, turning her gaze back to the window. "You should return to your colleagues before they wonder where you've gone." Ethan, red-faced and humiliated, turned on his heel and walked away. The whispers started immediately, some of them about him, some about her, but Olivia didn't mind. She didn't need to prove anything to anyone. As she sipped her wine, she looked out over the city. The lights below twinkled like stars, and for a moment, she let herself relax. In a world full of noise and false promises, she knew one thing for sure. True power didn't have to announce itself. It simply was. And sometimes, it was better to let the world underestimate you. After all, when they did, they would never see you coming.